All right, so we're going to go over the Unit 1 assessment. It says, what scale factor was used from figure A to figure B? So I have to think, what do I have to multiply the side lengths of figure A by to get to figure B? So if I'm going from 7 to 28, I'm going to multiply by 4. So the scale factor was 4. I would multiply all the side lengths by 4. For the next one, they wanted to know going from figure A to figure B. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So I'm getting smaller, I'm not getting bigger, so I know it can't be a whole number. And it's half the size, because if I'm going from 4 to 2, that's half the size. So the scale factor is going to be 1/2. The next one says select all, and this one was a tricky one for a lot of folks. Segment EF is twice as long as segment AB. Well, I know that 6 times 2 is 12, and EF is going to be twice as long as AB, so that's true. Segment CD is twice as long as FG. Well, they're not corresponding sides, and CD is on the smaller figure, so B is out. C says the measure of angle HEF is twice the measure of angle DAB. Well, I know the measure of the angles are exactly the same size, so C isn't true. The length of the segment EH is 16 units. So EH would be this side, and that goes with this one. So 8 times 2 is 16, so D is true. The area is twice the area of ABCD. Well, I remember that the length is going to be a scale factor of 2. The width is a scale factor of 2, so that means the area is going to be 4 times as large. We learned that in lesson 6 when we were doing those practice problems. The measure of angle BAD is the same as F. Let's check that, so I'm going to have to erase some of this stuff. Angle BAD is the same as FEH. That's true, and they're the same size. So my answer should have been ADF. All right, rectangle A measures 9 by 3 inches, and rectangle B is a scaled copy. So they have to have the same unit rate or constant of proportionality. They have to have the same scale. So 9 by 3. So I'm going to do 9 divided by 3, and I get 3/1. So every other combination has to be 3/1. So 4.5 divided by 1.5, well, that's going to be 3/1. 8 divided by 2, well, that's 4. 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. 13.5 divided by 4.5, well, that's 3/1. 90 divided by 30, that's 3/1. So that's why it was ADE. All right, for this one, it was an open response question. So they gave us a scale of 2 centimeters, and that was equal to feet. So 2 centimeters is equal to 6 feet. I know that I have 7.8 centimeters. So I'm going to divide by 2 on each side. And then I'm going to multiply by 7.8. So 3 times 7.8 is going to be 23.4. So it would be 23.4 feet. If the rectangle below is enlarged using a scale factor of 1.5, what will be the perimeter and area of the new rectangle? Well, I know that I'm going to multiply each of the sides by 1.5. So 2 times 1.5 is going to be 3. And 7 times 1.5 is going to be 10.5. So I'm going to find the area of my rectangle by doing 3 times 10.5, and I get 31.5 as my area. So I know I can eliminate B and A. So now I have to find the perimeter. Well, I remember perimeter is when you add up all the way around. So I know that it can't be 13.5. It has to be D, 27. The scale drawing of a rectangular park is 5 inches wide and 7 inches long. So I'm comparing wide to long. And it says the actual park is 280 yards long. So that means that the 280 is going to go over here. I have to convert everything because it says what is the area of the actual park. So I have to get my dimensions, my new dimensions, before I can do anything. So I'm going to divide by 7. I'm going to get a crazy number in my calculator, but that's okay. 5 divided by 7, I get 0.71. I'm going to leave that in my calculator, and I'm going to multiply by 280. Because whatever I do on one side of the table, I have to do to the other. And I get 200. So that means the width is going to be 200, and the length is 280. So now I can multiply the length and the width to figure out the area. And I get 56,000 yards, which was D. The lawnmower designer wants to build a lawnmower that measures 3 feet in height, 2 feet in width, and 5 feet in length. She needs to construct a 3-dimensional scale model of the lawnmower first. Which measurements are appropriate for the scale model? Well, I need to figure out, okay, well, what would work? So 7 divided by 3 is going to be 2.3 repeating. 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3 straight up. So I know that they're not using the same scale factor. So A is out. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I think the answer is B. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that's out. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 10 divided by 5 is 2. So it's definitely B because you have to have the same scale factor all the way around. The actual length and width of John's bedroom are 10 feet by 12 feet. The drawing of the bedroom is 0.25 or 25 hundredths of an inch is equal to 1 foot. What are the dimensions of John's room? Well, I know that I have inches and feet. So I have 10 feet, so I'm going to multiply by 10. So 0.25 times 10. I get 2.5. And then I'm going to do a second table. And this time I've got 12. Oops, I didn't mean to put 10. So I'm going to multiply by 12. So 0.25 times 12, I get 3. So I know it had to be C. All right, so we're looking at a playground. Before I can do anything, I have to change my dimensions. So I'm going to multiply all my side lengths by 40. So I know this is 40. This is going to be 120. 2.5 times 40 is going to be 100. And then 4.5 times 40 is going to be 180. All right, and I'm going to decompose the shape so that I can figure out, okay, what I'm dealing with. So I've got 100 times 120. So I've got 12,000. And then over here, I know this side's 40, and this part right here was, what, 100? So this part must be 80. So 40 times 80 is going to be 3,200. All right, so from there, I'm going to add these two parts up. So it should have been C, 15,200 square feet. The next one says, on a scale drawing of a house, the dining room was 3 inches by 3.5 inches. The scale factor for the drawing was 1/2 inch equals 2 feet. So I have to convert before I can do anything. And we've talked about this a lot, and all of these problems have asked you to do that. So we've got inches and we've got feet. So we know that 1/2 inch is going to equal 2 feet. So I want to find 1 inch, so I can find 3. So I'm going to divide by 0.5, and I get 4. Then I'm going to multiply by 3, and I get 12. So I know it's 12 feet. And then I'm going to do the whole thing again. And this time I have 3.5 feet. I like to get rid of the fractions every time I can. And I know the scale is going to be the same. Oops, that's wrong. This should be 2 right here. All right. I'm recording. So I'm going to do 4 times 3.5. And I get 14. So now I'm going to find the area of the shape. So 12 times 14, and I get 168 feet squared. From there, I know that if it costs $275 per square foot, I'm going to do 168 times 275, and I get $462. All right, we got 2 more questions to go. All right, this is probably one of the more controversial problems. So I'm going to first label my sides. That was one thing I noticed in your work, that a lot of you didn't draw the picture and label your sides. So PQ was 5, MP is 4, and then NO is 15. Okay, so I'm looking for this side. You could also draw it out where you've got MPQ, and then draw a bigger version, because you guys are a lot better at these, M and O, and label it this way. Oops. All right, then you're going to set up your table, small to big, because you're comparing the smaller triangle to the bigger triangle. You know that 5 and 15 are corresponding sides. And you know that 4 is your third side, and that's on the small triangle. So I'm going to go for 1. So I'm going to divide by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Then I'm going to multiply by 4. and I get 12. So my answer should have been B, 12. Last question. A lot of you got this one right. The tallest redwood tree in the world is 370 feet tall. Which of the following illustrations shows the tree drawn correctly to scale? So all you're doing is multiplying the key by the height to see if you get 370. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 37 and multiply it by 18, and I get 666. So that's not right. I'm going to do 37 times 10, and I get 370. So B was correct. 25 times 16, I get 400. And the last one was 12 times 12. Well, I can do that one in my head. 144. So that's why the answer was B. So what you're going to do is you're going to correct all the questions that you missed. Then you're going to send me a picture of those corrections with all of the work. You're going to study scaled drawings. That means that you're working in Imagine Math, you're looking through your notes, you're doing the practice problems in the playlists, specifically from the playlist in week 2, week 3, and week 2 and week 3 specifically. You're going to make sure you look back through your study guide. You're going to make sure that you know how to do these questions backwards and forwards, and you're going to get a new test with new questions. You're going to make a plan to retake a test with me either in the morning from 7:50 to 8:30. You'll have to do it during lunch, and lunch is loud, so I would not suggest then. Or on Tuesday afternoons from 3:30 to 4:15. Those are your options. All right? Let me know if you have any other questions, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.